The prisoner wishes to say a word.
Freedom to Live, the last stage of the hero's journey, shows us how the hero and the world have changed once all the dust has settled. This is distinct from the previous stage, Master of the Two Worlds, in that the process of applying the boon is over. Now we get to see the new normal and how the hero and the world respond to it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
There's an old saying that the reasonable man adapts himself to the world, while the unreasonable man tries to make the world adapt to him. But the transformed hero who succeeds in changing the world understands that these are just two sides of the same coin. Campbell describes the hero like this: powerful in this insight, calm and free in action. The hero is the conscious vehicle of the terrible, wonderful law, whether his work be that of butcher, jockey, or king. If you've ever developed the strength of character to change the world for the better, or found inner peace in the face of something you can't change,
Fucking A.
or by some miracle done both at the same time, then you've experienced freedom to live. There's something special about freedom to live. For starters, it's the end of the story, allowing us to assess the final outcome of the hero's journey. But remember that the hero's journey is a cycle. So freedom to live also serves as the foundation for the next cycle. It's the next ordinary world. So we're going to talk about freedom to live much the same way. In fact, we'll use the same two criteria we used to categorize the different types of ordinary world. First, are we, the audience, meant to approve of the new normal? If we are, then things have more or less turned out how the storyteller thinks they should. Second, how does the hero feel about it? Sometimes heroes, and here this could mean a good guy or a bad guy, end up happy with the outcome of their adventure, even though they haven't changed along the way. But the way they feel about the result of their efforts is usually related to the transformative effect of their journey. From these two questions, 4 basic categories emerge. First, if we're meant to approve of the new normal and the hero does too, we're looking at a textbook case of happily ever after.
I love you!
I love you!
Just remember that happiness is relative. There's Disney princess happy and final girl happy. Second, if we approve of the new normal but the hero doesn't, we're probably looking at a villain who failed. What I mean by approve is not that we'd want to be in that character's shoes, but that justice, literal or poetic, was served. Third, if we don't approve of the new normal and the hero's not happy about it either, then the hero has failed. This might be the end of the road or serve as a cliffhanger for a sequel. Finally, if we don't approve of the new normal but the hero is pleased with the final outcome, then we're usually looking at a villain who got what he wanted. Notice that this combination of outcomes could also describe a hero who finds inner peace. We might not be glad that the world stays the same crummy place it was when the hero set out to change it, but the hero finds a way to be happy within that world. This, of course, isn't the only variation you'll find. Happy endings can be bittersweet. Downer endings might have a silver lining. Some of the best endings are deliberately designed to pull your emotions in opposite directions. Endings can be as complex as the characters who make them happen.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Heroes, anti-heroes, tragic heroes, and villains. That complexity only multiplies when you have more than one main character.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Or the main character is replaced somewhere during the story. For the purposes of this introductory series, we'll focus on examples of the 4 most basic combinations. Let's start with happily ever after. In Jurassic Park, Dr. Alan Grant escapes the dinosaur-infested island having learned to embrace his fatherly role as a protector of children. This is a movie that wraps up quickly. The magic flight ends with an iconic rescue from without, which leads directly to a brief crossing the return threshold.
After careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.
Master of the Two Worlds is dramatized through Ellie Sattler's approving look at Grant as Hammond's grandkids cling to him for security instead of their own grandfather. This leads directly into Freedom to Live. The movie has already established that dinosaurs evolved into birds, and their presence here symbolizes a return to the natural order. Sequels aside, the world has, for the moment, been prevented from changing for the worse. It's Grant who changes, returning to the same world he left, but with a new perspective. Now let's turn to The Shining to see a villain who gets what he has coming. Jack Torrance is a family man and an author who takes a job as winter caretaker of the Overlook Hotel, a haunted resort in the mountains. Little by little, and then all at once, the evil spirits take hold of Jack, who already has a dubious record of anger, drinking, and at least one edge case of physical violence against his son, Danny. Once Jack's transformation is complete, it's up to Jack's wife, Wendy, and Danny to save themselves. The magic flight leads Danny into the hotel's hedge maze, where he rescues himself by retracing his own footprints in the snow. He's able to cross the return threshold and escape with his mother. Jack, meanwhile, wanders the hedge maze until he freezes to death. The last shot of the movie, which shows Jack in a photograph from 1921, has been subject to much interpretation. Did the hotel claim Jack's soul? Was Jack always in that photo? What is going on? Whatever your take, the fact remains that neither Jack nor the hotel acting through Jack achieved their shared goal of correcting Wendy and Danny. And we, of course, are meant to approve of that. Now, let's turn to endings we're not meant to approve of. We'll stick with Nicholson and dive into Chinatown, which provides one of the most famous cases of disappointment and failure in movie history. Private Detective Jake Gittes spends a good chunk of the movie suspecting Evelyn Mulray of murdering her husband, Hollis, when she found out that he had a mistress.
You were jealous. You had a fight. He fell. He hit his head. It was an accident. But his girl is a witness, so you had to shut her up. You don't have the guts to harm her, but you got the money to keep her mouth shut. Yes or no? No!
But it turns out that this is just a bit of misdirection provided by the real killer, Hollis's corrupt business partner, Noah Cross. Cross plans to enrich himself with an underhanded scheme to reroute LA's water supply onto land that he's bought up in secret.
See, Mr. Gibbs, either you bring the water to L.A., or you bring L.A. to the water.
He murders Mulray when he gets too close to the truth. But Cross is also Mulray's father-in-law, and Evelyn claims that Cross has a more personal motive for the murder. Cross is trying to reclaim custody of a secret younger daughter, Catherine, the offspring of an illicit relationship with Evelyn, and Hollis stood in his way.
Now, where's the girl? I want the only daughter I've got left.
Once Gittes knows the truth, he tries to help Evelyn get out of town. Instead, he's caught by Cross and forced to lead him to Evelyn and Catherine, who are hiding out in Chinatown. Evelyn makes a desperate attempt to escape. But the situation ends in disaster. There's nothing Gittes can do but watch as Cross pries Catherine away from Evelyn's body, leading to one of the most iconic last lines in movie history.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Subtext: this is the way the world is, and there's nothing you can do about it. Our next example, The Usual Suspects, revolves around the same theme, but it shows the story from the villain's perspective. Verbal Kint is a low-level con man who's been caught by the police after a dangerous heist leaves the rest of his crew dead. During the interrogation, U.S. Customs agent Dave Kuyan comes to believe that the ringleader, Dean Keaton, is actually a legendary underworld boogeyman, Kaiser Soze. The more Verbal talks, the more he believes it. But Verbal makes bail and, refusing to testify in exchange for police protection, leaves the station. And that's when Kuyan figures it out.
Convince me.
Verbal's story is an elaborate snow job, improvised using names and places borrowed from the cluttered office. Moments later, Kuyon gets a fax from a sketch artist that confirms his fear. He just let Kaiser Sose walk out the front door. This, by the way, is a failed master of the two worlds. The boon coming back to the ordinary world too late to be of immediate use. The entire interrogation framing device is Sose's attempt to outfox the final threshold guardian, cross the return threshold, and go back to being a ghost in the darkness.
I'm smarter than you. And I'm going to find out what I want to know. And I'm going to get it from you whether you like it or not.
In all that time, Sose doesn't grow and change as a character. Kuyon learns a tough life lesson, but only after it's too late to do anything about it.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And like that, he's gone.
So why tell stories about villains who don't change and beat the good guys? Well, they can be instructive as cautionary tales. As Campbell says, regrets are illuminations come too late. Or, in plain English,
Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
Let's wrap up with Total Recall, which provides us with a common variation on freedom to live: the ambiguous ending. This is often easily achieved just by excluding freedom to live, ending the movie one stage early so that some unresolved question remains open to interpretation. Douglas Quaid starts the story as a construction worker who dreams of life on Mars, but his wife doesn't want to move. So he does the next best thing. He has false memories of a spy-themed Martian vacation implanted. And that's when the line between fantasy and reality begins to blur. Is Quaid just a normal guy who lost touch with reality after a botched memory implant? Or did the implants accidentally unlock an identity the bad guys tried to erase?
You blew my cover!
A secret agent destined to get the girl, kill the bad guys, and save the entire planet. Well, after Quaid has done just that, giving Mars a breathable, Earth-like atmosphere, the movie ends like this.
I can't believe it. It's like a dream. What's wrong?
I just had a terrible thought. What if this is a dream?
Well, then kiss me quick before you wake up.
In a typical action movie, kissing the girl as the music swells would let us know that the hero has won. But in this case, Quaid's question remains. Writer Ed Neumeyer and director Paul Verhoeven are on record stating that Quaid has, yes, lost his mind. The eerie music and unusual fade to white, instead of black, are meant to indicate the end of his dream and that he's now trapped in his psychosis. That said, we're deliberately deprived of the next scene, Quaid drooling in a straitjacket. Once we've seen how the world and the hero respond to the new normal, the cycle is complete. This new world has its own strengths, its own weaknesses, its own balance. For better or for worse, a new order has emerged, and life will go on in this way. Until it doesn't. Nothing stays the same forever, and sooner or later, some new opportunity for greatness or threat of disaster, the next call to adventure, will throw that world out of balance. Whether it falls to the transformed hero to come out of retirement, or the responsibility falls to the next generation, the whole cycle starts again. This series was a year in the making and is 100% AI-free. If you've gotten something out of this series, I hope you'll hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share it with anyone in your life who loves movies and the art of storytelling. This is 17 Stages of Story. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.